we've got yucca, or the flower stalk off of yucca. And what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna find a thickness that's a little bit wider than your thumb, cut off a couple feet of it until you get to the thinner end, and you're gonna wanna find an a little bit bigger than a Sharpie. Break that off, that's gonna be your spindle. The fireboard part of it, take your knife, take a thicker piece of wood, hammer it down until you split it, and you want it to be a little bit thicker than a pencil. You don't want it too thick, otherwise you're not gonna be able to have the ash touching the spindle, and if it's too thin, you're just gonna burn straight through it. Next, you're gonna take the spindle. I just took a piece of string, did a clove hitch on it, tied it down. I took another stick, tied it to the bottom. I just did another little loop with the clove hitch right here to make sure it doesn't move on you. And this is going to be what holds the spindle in place and gives the extra pressure needed, like that. For the fireboard, you're gonna cut a groove almost halfway through the fireboard and make a wedge shape on the bottom of it. You don't want the wedge to be too narrow, otherwise you're gonna start pushing out the ashes and it's not going to be hot enough. So you want it just wide enough so it starts collecting in there and builds up underneath in the little triangle you cut out, but not too wide that it just bores out and the spindle is gonna fall out. So once you get it set up, I end up liking to put a little bit of pressure to make sure it's centered, then I'll come back, clean up the notch, make sure everything's right. So once you got it ready, put somewhat heavy pressure so you start getting the dust and just let it spin. And once you feel like you've got a good amount of dust built up, lighten up the pressure and pick up the speed. And we got a number.